Well, smarter is a word I would want to dive into a little bit, whether you mean increased short-term memory or long-term memory or speed of memory or focus or attention or more knowledge or
Every way that I can get smarter by every measure, I want to do that.
yeah. So this is the neurohacking space, right? And so there are chemical approaches. The whole field of nootropics and brain nutrients and smart drugs are all about exactly this: how to be able to hack biochemistry and neurochemistry for affecting cognition, either as a whole or very specific cognitive processes. There's also, TDCS, TMS, different forms of, transcranial stimulation that people will use, transcranial lasers to try and hyperclock ATP in particular regions of their brain. There are microbiome solutions to kind of increase the normal healthy neurotransmitter output that might be decreased in their gut. So there's a lot of, I would say, biochemical solutions. There are future solutions that are not available yet, but in process, that are things like, CRISPR genomic solutions that actually change genetic predispositions towards brain function. There's obviously brain-computer interface technologies in process. And this is all kinds of things on the physiologic side. And then on the information processing, kind of on the software side, there's a lot one can do there. So I would say the more one learns about any domain and consciously thinks about the cross-applicability of that, like, why is this domain the way that it is, thinking through everything else does this commensurate with the rest of my knowledge, making an interconnected database where you don't have arbitrary subject delineations, apply what you know from thermodynamics to biologic systems and gain interesting insights, right, from different kinds of systems. And then the larger just net database of knowledge you have and the more interconnected that knowledge set is, the more kind of insights you will have for lateral application to any new topic that comes. When you think about, even if I don't know this topic well, I know a lot about universe surrounding that topic that can have cross-applicability. And then also frameworks for thinking. So studying systems thinking and things like integral methodology and complexity and critical thinking, where one actually has better abilities to vet if things are true or not quickly, to know all of the perspectives necessary to assess a particular situation well, and then how to synthesize those perspectives. Actually studying epistemology, studying the processes of thinking and knowing is very useful.
Wow. Cool. So now with your...
Thank you. And thank you very much.
Now, I didn't say there, the basics are make sure you sleep enough, because you'll lose cognitive ability very quickly if you're not sleeping enough. Make sure that you eat well, make sure that you exercise, make sure that your blood sugar is stable. All of the basics of a healthy physiology so that you actually have healthy brain and information processing. Make sure that meditation and the right kinds of psychotherapy in life, that you can actually focus well, and that you have a brain that is not over anxious or over stressed out. These are all different things. So, what we're actually working to do at Neurohacker Collective is kind of vet all of the different types of neurotechnology that can help cognitive optimization. And on the physiologic side and on the learning and psychological side, vet all of the processes, techniques, technologies, and say which ones move what kinds of metrics for what kinds of people, involving what kinds of pathways. And then once vetting those, how do we synthesize all of those partial answers to be able to then make available the best of human knowledge with progressively more personalization and customization to each person. So, to just make it kind of simple, say someone was asking about how to become smarter is a very broad thing. We could kind of dive into specific subsets, but for illustration purposes, say someone wants to address anxiety. Well, how much of their anxiety is physiogenic and how much is psychogenic? And then of the psychogenic stuff, if someone was not anxious as a kid and then they had kind of acute adult trauma that led to PTSD, or someone that was always anxious from kind of early childhood attachment theoretic structures, even though those are both psychogenic, they actually don't lend themselves equally well to the same kinds of psychotherapy. And on the physiogenic side, anxiety from a gut-brain axis disorder that needs microbiome processing, or from mild head injury, or from a genetic methylation disorder, or from excitotoxicity from neurotoxins. Like, again, those are all real causes of pathology, and they need addressed differently. So we can just say, like, I've got a hammer, so everybody is a nail. Everyone should do breathing techniques. So they should all do Vipassana, or they should all take a benzodiazepine, and we'll get some effect.
Mm-hmm.
But it'll be everybody on a bell curve. If we want to put everybody on the front end of a customized bell curve, we have to be able to assess what are all the things that could be involved in what they're looking for. How do we assess what's actually going on for them and see where the greatest lift is going to occur?